Ladies and gentlemen, it is ya boy out on the field. The sweet Zionist prince, Tal the Traveling Clad, your favorite white colonizer. Get the merch down below in the description at thetravelingclad.com if you want to support the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, war with Iran is on the table. I've come here to the field to investigate what's been going on in northern Israel. This is the north of Israel. We're looking at the city of Tzfat. We're up on top right now, the second tallest mountain in Israel, Har Meron. And we are literally in what feels like the final days before a massive assault on the Islamic regime of Iran. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it, what we're expecting on the ground here in Israel, what is the expectation, and what is the anticipation from the people of Israel as we are here living this every single day. So if you don't know, there have been massive protests that have broken out again in Iran. People revolting against the IRGC and the slaughter of over 100,000 civilians that have been killed with zero media attention, zero of the pro-Palestine side, or zero of the Arab or Muslim side supporting or talking about it. Zero media coverage for these people besides Israelis and Iranians, Zionists and Iranians that have been speaking about this cause. And because of that, the people of Iran have had enough and they have started protesting once again. There was a message sent multiple times, not just from the administration in the United States, but also from the administration here in Israel, from Bibi Netanyahu's government, that help would potentially be on the way. The message from Donald Trump was actually to keep protesting, to mark down the words of the mullahs that have been killing them. The reality is that help still hasn't come, but there has been a massive, and everyone's seen this on the news, if you haven't for some reason, here's the update, a massive armada that has sailed across the Mediterranean Sea. The USS Gerald Ford just arrived in, I believe, Gibraltar 2 days ago. It is now sailing across the Mediterranean and coming towards Israel. There have been multiple planes, I think these are F-22 Raptors, that arrived in Israel yesterday that are now refueling and preparing for probably an operation in Iran. Now, we don't have the exact details, but friend of the show, General Amir Avivi, has actually spoken about the fact that it seems like the Islamic regime of Iran has prepared chemical weapons and biological weapons to attack Israel with. And you ask, why Israel? Because Israel's official stance in this situation has been the people of Iran need to revolt and they're not going to get involved. Obviously, we know that this is not true. Israel is always involved in an attack if it has to do with Iran or the Islamic regime of Iran, and especially if America is the one backing it. But the official stance from Israel is we're not getting involved right now. This has nothing to do with us. The protests have nothing to do with us. Iran, or the Islamic regime of Iran, all of their threats have been directed towards Israel, with a minority directed towards U.S. Army bases in the region, in places like Qatar, places like Bahrain, places like Iraq, and other places around the Middle East where the U.S. maintains a military presence. But when it comes to Israel, most of the Islamic regime's threats have been based towards Israel, with the most recent coming from a Twitter account that I follow called Iran Army Updates, saying that if the United States attacks Iran, Tel Aviv will disappear. Tel Aviv will be erased off the map. Now, I made a video a couple days ago that really took off. I think it got 500,000 views all over the internet, and the idea was exactly this. Now, I want every one of you guys to think about this, because this is the anticipation. In Israel, just in Israel proper, there are about 2 million Arabs that live here. And if you want to celebrate an Islamic regime attack on Israel, this is what you're celebrating. In Tel Aviv, or in the municipal area of central Israel, you're looking at about 250,000 Arabs, Muslims. You would call them Palestinians that live in that area. In Jerusalem, 500,000. In the north of Israel here, about another 300,000. Yeah, in cities like Tzfat, there's like 20,000. There's a Arab town called Jish just right over here that has a massive Christian population, and this was a huge target. Where I'm standing right now was a target of the proxies of the Islamic regime, Hezbollah, and they fired rockets here endlessly at civilians and killed civilians, killed Arab civilians here in the north of Israel. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of Muslim Arabs that are under the threat of the IRGC that seems to be pretending they are going to be liberating Palestine by attacking Israel. It's not only that, if you actually amplify who else is affected by this, you have 2 million more Arabs in Gaza, 2 million more Muslims in Gaza, and 2 million more in the West Bank. All are under threat by the same exact IRGC. Every single person living in this land, whether they be a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew, are under threat. So the preparation is, Israel is preparing, obviously, more Iron Dome and the Arrow laser project to shoot down a lot of these ballistic missiles, and obviously preparing bomb shelters across the country, opening public shelters for people and civilians to be able to hide in when these rockets start falling. The anticipation is that there is going to be basically a rain of ballistic missiles coming across the country. There's a caveat to that I'm going to touch on right now, but I want you to understand one key difference between the ballistic missiles used by the proxies of the IRGC, like Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, even though Hamas doesn't have proper ballistic missiles. What the IRGC has developed and uses are hypersonic ballistic missiles. And why these are so deadly and dangerous is because they actually launch into space and then come down from space. If you saw the 12-Day War and footage on the ground from people on the 12-Day War, you would have seen what looked like Star Wars battles, but way more intense than anything we've ever seen, because this was the first time that Israel has been hit by hypersonic ballistic missiles. Even a safe room that every house in Israel has to have, for the most part, even a mamad, what we call a mamad, a safe room, can't really protect you. How do I know? I have friends who were 5 meters away from their houses, or the safe rooms were 5 meters away from a hypersonic ballistic missile that hit, and it completely decimated their entire apartment, including the safe room. So these missiles are extremely dangerous, and they're not being targeted towards army. They're not being targeted towards army personnel, army bases. Not that that would be okay. They are being explicitly targeted towards civilians. In the last war, a majority of the people that were hurt were civilians. That is the target of the IRGC, not the collateral damage. Their actual target is civilians. And again, they don't care if they're Palestinian, they don't care if they're Muslim, Christian, or Jewish. They're all the same garbage to the IRGC. And so that is the massive danger inherent with actually fighting a war with the IRGC, these hypersonic ballistic missiles that change the game completely. The caveat is, and why this may not end up being as dangerous as possible, it seems that there is a strike package on the table. The U.S. has changed, and from all the information we've gotten, it has been, we're going to strike, they call it off. Strike, call it off, strike it off. And it seems like there's been multiple high calculated adjustments made towards who and how they're going to be attacking the Islamic regime of Iran. Right now, it seems like what's going to happen is going to be one massive hit in conjunction with Israel and potentially other partners in the region, and maybe even the United Kingdom if Israel can, or if the US can pressure the United Kingdom to actually help with this. But it seems like what's on the table right now is one massive assault, and the types of planes that I was reading about, types of planes that have been brought into the region, are not planes that are supposed to carpet bomb Iran. These are highly targeted, high precision missiles on these jets that are supposed to take out these specific bases, and they're supposed to be able to redeploy so quickly that the idea is to completely destroy their stockpile of ballistic missiles, or at least the ones that are visible to intelligence in the United States and Israel, as fast as possible, so that they could effectively try to instill a regime change. I know the word regime change has come up and been controversial, but let's be completely honest. The official stance at this point of U.S. President Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu is regime change. Most countries in the world right now, besides the Arab states, are advocating for regime change in Iran. Most are. And so I think that the official position militarily, even though it seems like they're trying to stray away from this, at least publicly, is going to be a regime change. And the only way you get close to a regime change in Iran is if you do an all-out assault very quickly and very effectively. Make the ayatollahs, the mullahs, hide underground for prolonged periods of time, render them useless, and then begin the overthrowing. This is the one thing I want you guys all to remember. This will be a process. A war at this scale is not going to end quickly. It is not going to be an in-and-out operation like what we saw in Venezuela, most likely. I can't stand corrected. I might be wrong about this, but most likely this is going to be a prolonged operation. It may last months, and the ongoing process in Iran may last years. But here in Israel, we're standing firm with the people of Iran. We're standing firm and confident with God, with Hashem, that we will be protected and we will come out of this victorious with the amazing country of the United States of America and Israel working together to defeat these evil people. And we stand confident in the fact that the Abraham Accords and inshallah the Cyrus Accords will come into effect quickly after and bring peace and tranquility across this beautiful land, the north of Israel, the entire country of Israel, and all of the people of the Middle East, and especially our brothers and sisters in Iran. I will see you guys in the next one. If you want to support the channel, buy some merchandise like this sweet Zionist prince or princess hoodie down below in the description of thetravelingcloud.com. Keep yourself warm in the north of Israel, guys. It's cold. And I'll see you then. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Klats. Fuck yeah.